Whoa! Welcome back. Hello. It's been a while since I've done a video of any kind, really. But a year ago, I did a Conjuring film tier list, wherein I ranked all of the Conjuring films whilst I sounded like I was half asleep. Yeah, I don't know why my video persona is so chill and quiet. Maybe because I am also chill and quiet. But in videos, it's like I'm on some kind of relaxant, which I'm not. I just generally speaking, am very relaxed. Which is why I enjoy a horror film. Because they give me that rush of adrenaline. They wake me up. They're usually the creative ones anyway. They're very good at drawing you in. Um, and an effective horror film can make me jump. It really can. And I've seen hundreds of them at this point, and they still get me. They still make me jump. Even now, I'm jumpier now than you'd think. Given that I'm the biggest horror fan I know personally, I'm still a little baby when it comes to horror films. Um, so today we're going to be talking about the finale of the Conjuring films, in the sense that this is the last Ed and Lorraine Warren focused Conjuring film. I assume they will continue to make spin-offs, maybe The Nun 3 or Annabelle 6 or whatever. But we're not even going to talk about the movie yet, because I have to rant about my film experience. To recap my personality, I'm not really someone who would say something if you're not following cinema etiquette. I'm not good at confrontation. But I have felt feisty before, and I've told people, can you shut up? Like when I saw Terrifier 3, there were like 7 people sat next to me, and they were all talking at full volume. And I literally did. I turned to them and went, can you please stop talking? Because it was a very small cinema, very small space, and other people were annoyed. And I just thought, you know what? I was having a day, I think. I was having a day. So, obviously, I said, hey, shut up. But today was a very bad cinema experience. Because, first of all, I went to see this film in IMAX. It was a packed out cinema. People everywhere, huge, because the film had just come out over here, so of course it's going to be packed. And the people sat next to me, they talked to each other for most of it. They ate food really loudly. They took their shoes off. They went on their phones constantly. Whenever the film would slow down a little bit, they'd be on their phone, texting, chatting, asking, hey, who's that? Or explaining the plot to each other of the film I'm currently watching. And there's a very high likelihood that they'll eventually watch this video, I'm sure. So if you are the 2 people who were sat next to me during the Conjuring Last Rites, who basically ruined my viewing experience, I really needed a self day. I needed to be immersed in a horror film and have a good time. But it's really hard to do that when there are people talking in your earshot, and I'm feeling bad enough as it is. I don't feel up to turning around and going, can you stop whispering? Can you stop looking at your phone? Because they weren't even the only ones doing it. There were people looking at their phones and checking the time constantly. So I'm not really sure if it's, as taboo to do that now. But I hate that that's where we are. I hate that that's what society's come to, where people they'll just check their phones during movies and talk and basically act like they're in their living room, and they kept yawning, and the guy was breathing like the whole time. I was like, what is going on? Do I need to call an ambulance? I don't know. I considered grabbing the phone out of his hand and throwing it across the cinema, or just moving seats. But it was a packed cinema, so I couldn't just shuffle to another place in the cinema. I just tried to focus on the film, but it made me so angry when people can be so careless and selfish. But you're at the cinema, you've paid extra to see a film in IMAX, and you're gonna sit there and act like you're at home. I don't understand. I really don't. So anyway, the film itself was very good. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. As a finale for the Warrens themselves, I think it's very satisfying. Closes the story off really well. On a spooky scale, let's say this film was medium. It has some really scary bits, some bits that made me jump. Thankfully, the couple next to me didn't talk during the intense bits. It was like whenever the film would quieten down, they'd be like, it's so annoying because I'm trying to get immersed. I don't think I can even fairly review it because I was half watching and half seething in rage with these people. But the film was good. I mean, my biggest complaint would be it didn't spend enough time with the family in question. I feel like it kept showing the family and the haunting that's happening, and that was really interesting, really cool stuff, really scary, well-made horror. Then it would cut back to the Warrens and their family stuff. And whilst it was interesting and well performed and written, and it was interesting enough. I just want to see some spooky stuff. I don't care about that really as much. And it's even harder to get invested in when you got people talking next to you. Wasn't that bad though, in terms of immersion. I felt like the family stuff was interesting most of the time, but I do think it did bog down the runtime. If this film did not need to be over 2 hours at all, it didn't need to be the longest in the franchise. Especially the way that it wraps up felt very anticlimactic in terms of the haunting plot. The actual ending for the Warrens is very satisfying. The ending of the ghost stuff I thought a bit unsatisfying. There are also some goofy things in here, in this film. Some jump scares that made me giggle quietly. I respect people in the cinema. I'm not going to laugh loudly, but yeah, it was an involuntary thing. I'm like, God. Plus, the jump scare does legitimately get me. I do chuckle a little bit because I enjoy it. I like horror films because I'm strange. I don't know. I guess talk about spoilers a little. It's not really a spoiler, but there was a bit where Annabelle, the doll, becomes like a giant, colossal version of Annabelle and starts chasing the daughter around. I'll tell you what, the daughter I liked. I liked her. She was very good. And Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson are obviously great here. They're always great. They never phone it in with the Conjuring films, or at all, really. They're very good, and they clearly care about these characters they're playing. But my God, it was way too long. But in terms of finales to a franchise, it's pretty good. It's fine. It does everything you'd want. It finishes it with really... But that's another thing. I can understand why it was their last case because of the trauma in the film that happens. Like, horrible stuff happens that would make you want to hang up your cape and quit, The film could have pushed it even further to even further show why this was their last case. Because I understand why it was their last case, because I saw the film. But I think they could have gone even harder with that. Like, have some even scarier things happen. Because that's a complaint, I think, is a valid one. I didn't find this film particularly scary. I thought it set up tension really well. There were plenty of jump scares that got me. Just not that many. Like, Conjuring 2 was, really scary, really good. And the first one as well. I don't remember the third one. I remember enjoying the third one. I don't remember what happened. Um, I think this is another example of that. I'd also say it's probably my least favorite of the franchise. When the Warrens actually come to the house and start doing their thing, it does get really interesting. And I thought the opening of the film was really strong. Oh my god, these two people next to me. The film opens in like 1963, 4, something like that. With a very obvious younger version of Ed and Lorraine Warren. Not obvious in terms of like any, like, yeah, but the costume and look, they look like younger versions. So any rational person would be like, oh, that's the younger version. You don't need to say it out loud. And these people next to me, they point at the screen and they're like, that's the younger version of Ed and Lorraine Warren. Like, really? You think so? In this Conjuring film, they're doing a flashback with a couple investigating a ghost. Who else is it gonna be? Fucking Scooby Doo. Scooby and Shaggy showing up. That would have been a really good opening. I also liked how it tied into stuff from the time period. Like Ghostbusters. They acknowledge it. They're like, hey, you guys Ghostbusters? And the Warrens are like, no, we're not. Well, no, we don't bust ghosts. We ghost busts. Yeah, the moral of the story is The Conjuring Last Rites was a satisfying conclusion to this franchise. It had good scares, pretty good story. I don't think it quite hit hard enough to warrant all the marketing that this is like the scariest case and the worst thing that happened. Again, I understand why, in terms of the film and the plot, I just don't think it quite hit the way that they wanted it to. I remember watching a trailer with my friend, and there's that bit where the little doll sits up, and he jumped out of his skin at that. He was like, "Oh my god!" But I was just sat there. Just, yeah. What else was gonna happen? To be fair, the CGI in the trailer was absolutely atrocious. Like the look, there's that bit where the doll, it starts floating and then it's an old woman and she's like smiling at the camera. It's creepy. I thought that looked terrible in the trailer, CGI wise, but in the film it looks a lot better. It just looks like a creepy old lady, which is good. I like the axe guy as well. There was a very cool bit with the axe guy where you can just see his shadow and then he's just standing there. I love that. I love it. I love when the ghost is there and just watching, not doing anything. And it takes you a minute to register it, and you're like, oh my god, there's a ghost over there. But yeah, all in all, Conjuring Last Rites was pretty good. I would probably give it 3.5 out of 5, I reckon. I would give the people in the cinema, however, a 0 out of 5. Please, if you want to take your shoes off, and they were smoking in the cinema as well, not cigarettes, but they were vaping in the cinema. I've never seen anyone doing that. They just fucking vaping into the air. Crazy. Shallow breathing, vaping, taking your shoes off, rustling and chewing and talking. How hard is it to just sit and watch a movie? You've paid extra for IMAX, and honestly, they probably wasted like what, 20 quid just so they could sit and chat about stuff. I don't care about that. I want to watch a bunch of people get all conjured up. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Go see The Conjuring Last Rites if you like it. If you like the franchise, you'll definitely enjoy this one. It's satisfying. It's a good ending. It's got some spooky moments. As we're heading towards spooky season, it's kind of the perfect film to watch right now. And there's plenty more horror to look forward to. Like, we got Him, we got Good Boy, we got other ones. I was going to do another reading video, but the story I wrote was just so abysmal that I couldn't get through it. But hopefully I'm better right now. If you're interested in my creative endeavors, I have my second channel where I make short films. I just released a short film short horror film actually, and the full-length recording of a play I wrote many years ago. So if you're interested in that, please check those out. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Go see this movie, get your spook on, and I'll see you in the next video.